few landscapes on Earth evoke the same sense of awe and mystery as the Rocky Mountains. Towering peaks shrouded in mist, dense pine forests whispering secrets to the wind, and desolate valleys cloaked in perpetual twilight create an environment ripe for tales of the supernatural. In this third episode of Most Haunted Places in the Rocky Mountains, we delve deeper into the shadowy corners of this majestic region, uncovering stories so chilling they'll leave you questioning whether the mountains themselves are alive or haunted by something far more sinister. The Rockies have long been a sanctuary for those seeking solace, adventure, or escape. But beneath their breathtaking beauty lies a darker history of pioneers who perished in harsh winters, miners driven mad by isolation, and indigenous legends warning of spirits that guard sacred lands. These stories are not mere folklore, they are etched into the very fabric of the land, where every abandoned cabin, ghost town, and secluded trail seems to pulse with an otherworldly energy. The air is thick with whispers of tragedy, betrayal, and unrelenting sorrow, inviting us to peer beyond the veil and confront what lies hidden in the shadows. In this installment, we journey to some of the most infamous haunted locales scattered across the Rocky Mountain range, places steeped in lore and fear, where the past refuses to stay buried. We'll tread cautiously through ghost towns frozen in time, explore eerie mineshafts teeming with restless spirits, and venture into isolated lodges where the walls seem to breathe with malevolent intent. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of the Rockies, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the next ridge, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. St. Elmo Ghost Town, echoes of a forgotten era nestled high in the Sawatch Range of Colorado. St. Elmo Ghost Town stands as a haunting relic of the Wild West, a once thriving mining community reduced to crumbling ruins and spectral memories. Established in 1880 during the Silver Boom, St. Elmo quickly became a bustling hub of commerce and industry, boasting over 2,000 residents at its peak. Its streets were lined with saloons, general stores, and boarding houses, while the nearby mines churned out fortunes in precious metals. Yet, like many boomtowns of the era, St. Elmo's prosperity was short-lived. When the railroad bypassed the town in 1922 and the Great Depression struck, its population dwindled until only a handful remained. Today, what's left of St. Elmo is a ghost town in more ways than one, its empty buildings serving as vessels for the spirits of those who refuse to leave. One of the most enduring legends tied to St. Elmo revolves around the Stark family, who ran the town's general store and post office. Annie Lee Stark, the eldest daughter, is said to haunt the dilapidated structure, her presence felt most acutely after sunset. Visitors report hearing faint footsteps echoing through the creaky wooden floors, accompanied by the soft rustle of papers being shuffled. Some claim to see a translucent figure resembling Annie moving between shelves, meticulously tidying up merchandise, as though preparing for another day of business. Others describe feeling an icy draft pass through them as they linger near the counter, followed by the unmistakable scent of lavender, a fragrance Annie reportedly wore daily. Another prominent figure in St. Elmo's haunted lore is believed to be Charlie Champ Seagraves, a local miner known for his larger-than-life personality and penchant for mischief. Historical records indicate that Champ met a violent end during a barroom brawl in 1895, his body discovered outside the Alpine Saloon with fatal stab wounds. Since then, visitors exploring the remnants of the saloon have reported seeing a shadowy figure seated at the bar, nursing a phantom drink. Witnesses describe hearing bursts of raucous laughter emanating from within, despite the building's derelict state. On occasion, the sound of glass shattering can be heard, followed by an eerie silence, as if the brawl never truly ended. The town's cemetery, located on a hill overlooking the valley, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Grave markers tilt precariously, their inscriptions worn away by time and weather, yet the spirits of those interred here seem determined to make their presence known. Paranormal investigators exploring the site have captured EVP recordings capturing fragmented phrases like, "Help me," and "I'm still here," delivered in tones of sheer desperation. One particularly unsettling discovery came when a team member set up motion-activated cameras overnight, capturing footage of a translucent figure standing motionless among the graves before vanishing without explanation. Modern-day visitors to St. Elmo frequently recount bizarre experiences that defy logical explanation. Lights flicker unpredictably in certain areas, especially near the old schoolhouse and church. Doors slam shut on their own, and disembodied voices call out names unfamiliar to those present. One guest described waking up in their RV park near the entrance to find frost covering the windows, despite the mild summer night. Another recounted seeing a man in a dusty miner's outfit standing at the edge of the forest, his hollow eyes boring into theirs before vanishing without a sound. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, St. Elmo remains a popular destination for tourists and paranormal enthusiasts alike. Its picturesque setting and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and exploration. For those brave enough to wander its deserted streets after dark, the possibility of encountering Annie Lee, Champ, or one of the countless other spirits said to linger adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the cracked wooden sidewalks, they must decide whether they are ready to face the echoes of the past, or will they become another chapter in the town's ghostly legacy. The Stanley Hotel, a grandeur cloaked in shadows perched majestically atop a hill overlooking Estes Park, Colorado. The Stanley Hotel stands as an architectural marvel, a grand testament to Gilded Age opulence and innovation. Built in 1909 by Freeland Oscar Stanley, co-founder of the Stanley Steamer Automobile Company, the hotel quickly became a retreat for wealthy travelers seeking respite amidst the rugged beauty of the Rockies. With its sweeping verandas, crystal chandeliers, and meticulously manicured gardens, the Stanley exudes an air of timeless elegance. Yet beneath its polished veneer lies a darker narrative, one steeped in tragedy, madness, and spectral encounters that have cemented its status as one of America's most haunted hotels. One of the most iconic legends tied to the Stanley Hotel centers around Room 217, immortalized in Stephen King's The Shining. According to local lore, this room was once occupied by Elizabeth Wilson, a housekeeper who tragically died in a gas explosion in 1911. Her spirit is said to roam the halls, ensuring guests are comfortable and attended to even in death. Visitors staying in room 217 frequently report strange occurrences: lights turning on and off by themselves, radios tuning to static-filled stations, and the overwhelming scent of roses lingering in the air. Some claim to wake up in the middle of the night to find their bedsheets neatly folded at the foot of the bed, as though Elizabeth herself had tidied up after them. Another prominent figure in the hotel's haunted lore is believed to be Lord Dunraven, a British nobleman who originally owned the land upon which the Stanley was built. Historical accounts suggest that Dunraven harbored resentment toward F.O. Stanley for developing the property, vowing to haunt it forever. Guests recount sightings of a distinguished gentleman clad in Victorian attire, pacing anxiously near the lobby or sitting alone in the bar. His presence is often accompanied by the faint clinking of glasses and the smell of tobacco, as though he's savoring one last drink before departing. Some speculate that Lord Dunraven lingers due to unfinished business, unable to part ways with the land he once cherished. The hotel's basement, once used for storage and laundry operations, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a janitor who swore he saw a young boy playing with marbles in the corner of the room, only for the child to disappear when approached. Theories abound that the boy may have been a victim of illness or accident during the hotel's early years, forever trapped in the confines of its lower levels. Modern-day investigations into the Stanley Hotel's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the concert hall and the basement. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique furniture pieces believed to have belonged to original owners. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which captured disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "I'm sorry," and "Let me go." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Stanley Hotel continues to draw visitors eager to immerse themselves in its storied past. For those brave enough to book a stay, the opportunity to encounter Elizabeth Wilson, Lord Dunraven, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its architectural splendor or the thrill of peeling back the layers of its enigmatic history, the Stanley promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. The Gold King Mine, depths of despair buried deep within the San Juan Mountains of southwestern Colorado. The Gold King Mine stands as a grim reminder of the human cost of ambition and greed. First established in the late 19th century during the height of the gold rush, the mine quickly became a beacon of hope for fortune seekers flocking to the Rockies in search of riches. Its labyrinthine tunnels stretched miles beneath the surface, yielding millions of dollars in precious metals over several decades. Yet behind the glittering promise of wealth lay a darker reality, one marked by perilous working conditions, devastating accidents, and untold suffering endured by those who dared to descend into its depths. One of the most harrowing incidents tied to the Gold King Mine occurred in 1908, when a catastrophic cave-in trapped dozens of miners underground. Rescue efforts proved futile, leaving the men entombed in darkness and despair. Survivors claimed to hear faint cries for help emanating from the collapsed section for days afterward, though no bodies were ever recovered. Decades later, visitors exploring the abandoned mine report hearing similar sounds, muffled voices pleading for assistance, accompanied by the rhythmic clang of pickaxes against rock. Some claimed to see shadowy figures huddled together in the narrow tunnels, their faces obscured by helmets lit with flickering lanterns. Another prominent legend associated with the Gold King Mine revolves around a foreman named Jacob Hargrove, whose obsession with uncovering the mother lode ultimately led to his demise. Historical records indicate that Jacob succumbed to carbon monoxide poisoning after ignoring safety protocols during a routine inspection. Locals believe his restless spirit continues to wander the mine, searching for the elusive vein of gold that eluded him in life. Paranormal investigators exploring the site have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "Find it," and "Keep digging." Witnesses describe seeing a tall, gaunt figure illuminated by flashlight beams, his silhouette distorted by swirling dust before vanishing without a trace. The mine's entrance, now partially sealed off by rusted metal gates, has become a focal point of paranormal activity. Visitors standing near the opening often feel an inexplicable sense of dread, as though unseen eyes are watching their every move. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly observed. Some claim to hear disembodied voices calling out in languages unfamiliar to modern ears, believed to be the dialects spoken by immigrant laborers who toiled under brutal conditions. Others report seeing apparitions of men and women in tattered clothing, their faces gaunt and weary, working tirelessly even in death. Paranormal investigators exploring the Gold King Mine have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near the main shaft and the equipment storage room. EVP recordings capture faint whispers pleading for help, interspersed with anguished cries. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing in the doorway of a collapsed tunnel, its hands raised as if begging for mercy. These findings have solidified the mine's reputation as one of the Rockies' most active haunted sites. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, the Gold King Mine continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the atrocities committed in pursuit of wealth and power. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, the Gold King Mine offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into obscurity. The Brown Palace Hotel, elegance entangled with the supernatural in the heart of Denver, where the vibrant energy of the city meets the timeless charm of historic architecture, stands the Brown Palace Hotel. A beacon of refined elegance with a haunting legacy that dates back over a century. Opened in 1892, the Brown Palace quickly became a hub for politicians, celebrities, and dignitaries seeking luxury accommodations amidst the burgeoning metropolis. Its atrium-style lobby, adorned with intricate ironwork and soaring stained glass ceilings, evokes a sense of grandeur and sophistication. Yet beneath its polished exterior lies a darker history steeped in tragedy, betrayal, and spectral encounters that have made it one of Colorado's most haunted landmarks. One of the most enduring legends tied to the Brown Palace revolves around the Lady in Red, a mysterious figure believed to haunt the 8th floor. According to local lore, she was a young woman who checked into the hotel under the pretense of meeting her lover, only to discover he had abandoned her for another. Overcome with grief, she took her own life in room 831, leaving behind a legacy of sorrow that continues to haunt visitors today. Guests staying on the 8th floor frequently report strange occurrences: lights turning on and off by themselves, radios tuning to static-filled stations, and the overwhelming scent of perfume lingering in the air. Some claim to wake up in the middle of the night to find their bedsheets tangled impossibly tight around their limbs, as if restrained by invisible hands. Another prominent figure in the hotel's haunted lore is believed to be none other than Theodore Roosevelt, who frequently stayed at the Brown Palace during his visits to Denver. Though not a permanent resident, his larger-than-life personality left an indelible mark on the property. Visitors recount sightings of a tall, imposing man clad in period attire, pacing anxiously near the lobby or sitting alone in the Churchill bar. His presence is often accompanied by the faint clinking of spurs and the smell of leather, as though he's preparing for one last campaign rally. Some speculate that Roosevelt lingers due to unfinished business, unable to part ways with the city that played such a pivotal role in his political career. The Brown Palace's basement, once used for storage and laundry operations, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the narrow passageways, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a janitor who swore he saw a young boy playing with marbles in the corner of the room, only for the child to disappear when approached. Theories abound that the boy may have been a victim of illness or accident during the hotel's early years, forever trapped in the confines of its lower levels. Modern-day investigations into the Brown Palace's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the atrium and the basement. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique furniture pieces believed to have belonged to original owners. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "I'm sorry," and "Let me go." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Brown Palace Hotel continues to draw visitors eager to immerse themselves in its storied past. For those brave enough to book a stay, the opportunity to encounter the Lady in Red, Theodore Roosevelt, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its architectural splendor or the thrill of peeling back the layers of its enigmatic history, the Brown Palace promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. Patterns across the Rockies' haunted places, themes of tragedy and resilience as we traverse the haunted landscapes of the Rocky Mountains, from the opulent halls of the Stanley Hotel to the somber depths of the Gold King Mine. Striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of sanatoriums to the shadowed basements of courtrooms, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of unethical experiments, or the betrayed trust of patients subjected to inhumane treatments, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. The psychology of fear. Why haunted places captivate us? What is it about haunted places that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the creaking floorboards and flickering lights lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These sites, by their very nature, are places of vulnerability. They are where we confront our mortality, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on the expertise of others to heal us, or where justice was denied, leaving wounds that refuse to heal. When these spaces become haunted, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, architectural design, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. At the core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Haunted places exist in this liminal space, bridging life and death, health and illness, hope and despair. This inherent duality makes them fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Ghosts, as manifestations of unresolved trauma or unfinished business, embody the tension of being caught between states. They serve as reminders that the boundaries we construct, between life and afterlife, sanity and madness, are far more permeable than we'd like to believe. For many, visiting a haunted site feels like stepping into a twilight zone where the rules of reality no longer apply, igniting both curiosity and unease. Architecturally, haunted places contribute to this atmosphere of dread through their design. Long, sterile hallways lined with identical doors create a sense of disorientation, while poor lighting and echoing acoustics heighten sensory awareness. These features mimic the psychological effects of anxiety and claustrophobia, making even mundane sounds, a distant cough, the hum of fluorescent lights, feel ominous. The labyrinthine layouts of older structures, with their hidden wings and underground tunnels, evoke feelings of entrapment and uncertainty. Every corner becomes a potential threat, every shadow a possible harbinger of danger. This environmental manipulation taps into our instinctual fight or flight response, keeping us perpetually on edge. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with haunted places. Media representations, from films like The Shining to television series such as American Horror Story, have cemented the trope of the haunted asylum, courthouse, or battlefield as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Haunted places become microcosms of larger fears: the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. Moreover, haunted places appeal to our desire for catharsis. Engaging with these tales allows us to process our own fears about mortality, injustice, and the flaws inherent in systems meant to protect us. By confronting ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, we externalize internal anxieties, transforming abstract fears into tangible adversaries. This vicarious experience provides a safe outlet for exploring the darker aspects of human existence, offering both thrill and relief. It's no wonder that ghost tours and paranormal investigations of haunted places attract participants eager to test their courage against the unknown. Ultimately, the enduring allure of haunted places lies in their ability to mirror our deepest fears while challenging our understanding of reality. They remind us that the past is never truly buried, that pain and injustice leave indelible marks on both people and places. As we walk their haunted halls, we are forced to confront not only the spirits said to inhabit them but also the ghosts within ourselves, the regrets, doubts, and unanswered questions that linger long after the wounds have healed. In doing so, we find a strange comfort in knowing that we are not alone in our fears, that others have walked these same paths and emerged, shaken but alive, to tell their stories. As we bring this chilling journey through the Rocky Mountains' most haunted places to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of the Rockies' haunted places yourself. Walk the same trails where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken locales offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.